Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm back building in my wizarding save file, and I'm in Oasis Springs. So that means that I'm building something that isn't like near Hogwarts or Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley, just because I really wanted to keep those spaces together. But there are, of course, lots of other locations in the wizarding world, so yeah, I'm building one of those, and it's going to be another wizarding school because there are plenty of other wizarding schools, and I really wanted to include some other some of those at least. And this one is the Japanese wizarding school, which is called Mahoutokoro. I'm not actually sure how you would pronounce it in Japanese. I don't speak the language, but I think something like that would be correct. At least I hope so. And yeah, I just looked up other wizarding schools and I found that one, and I looked at some pictures or renderings of that school because of course people like to imagine what it should look like. And yeah, I decided to replicate some of those pictures, and it's like a really cool building. I think it looks really cool, and the color scheme is really cool. The only thing that is really sad because I can't really replicate it is like the details on the roof, and yeah, that I couldn't really replicate, but I did try to make it at least similar enough that you could recognize it, or at least say it looks kind of similar if you look at the pictures. And as you can see, the roof was done in many different parts because I wasn't quite sure if maybe if I did just one big roof that it would clip a lot. So I really wanted to make it into different parts. And I also like I wouldn't need the parts the gabled roofs that I put down because the roof is already covered, but that is like one of the details that I actually could replicate, so I really wanted to do that. And as you can see, I'm still working on the roof, and I basically copied one side to the other side, so to the opposite side, because it I just thought that the symmetry would be really cool. And yeah, that was the roof. Afterwards, I moved on to like the back part of it. I really wanted there to be another like way to go up there, and as you can see, it was a little bit difficult to actually do just because I used a platform for like the first floor. I didn't want to put anything down there because I wanted to give like the illusion that it is like built on top of something, because in like the article that I found on like the school, it's supposed to be built on top of like a volcanic island on like the peak of it. So yeah, that was the idea behind that. I thought about using some terrain tools, but I didn't want to do that, and I thought that would also look really cool. And I also wanted the terrain to be flat, and it just worked better with like platforms, how I did like the staircase up top and so on. So it worked better like that. And I also put down like a little like roofed porch area in the back, and I will put down some things there as well so people can learn. And yeah, that was like the major structural thing that I put down. Now I moved on to the windows, and in the rendering there are windows in the roof as well. I'm not sure if like it is realistic to think that they're actually like that they give light or a lot of light or even a view outside, but they were in the picture and I just wanted to replicate it as close as possible. And in the picture you can also see that they are supposed to be, well, at least partially black, so that's why I put down those specific windows. I also thought about what wall color I would use. At the moment I used a plain white, but later I will change some part of it because I wanted to give it more detail, or to make it look more detailed than it is at the moment. And then I put down the stone wall color because I wanted that to be stone, just because the picture that I had like a big stone wall, and I also think that it fits very well with like the whole concept that I had going on. And that was that. I also painted the roof green. In the picture that I had, it is a little bit of a different green, a little bit deeper, but I also think that the green that I had looked really cool and fit very well, so I wasn't bothered about that a bunch. In the back, the roofed over porch has another roof color. I really wanted that like purple color. I think that it looks really cool. I then decided to use another wallpaper for the roofs, just because they are so detailed and I really wanted to replicate it at least a little bit. And after that, I was done with the major parts of the outside. I will just have to like landscape it and furnish it a little bit, but that was the outside. Now I moved on to the inside. And as you can see on the bottom floor, I kept it pretty symmetrical. And then the next floor up, I put down a bathroom and also the dormitories for the pupils. So that was the whole floor basically. Is like the space where the pupils live. And in the top floor is like the space for the teacher, or the headmistress or headmaster. And that was just like the layout. Of course, it's not really realistic for a school to be that small, but at the same time I think it's like a wizarding school, so maybe they have like space expansion or something. I just thought that it's fine, the size is fine. Of course, it's a little bit unrealistic for like real life, but it's fine for like the Sims and for the world that I am imagining. And in the downstairs floor, I decided to make three rooms. One room would be the library, the biggest one, and the other two rooms would be like learning spaces. And that was basically it with the layout of everything, at least with the walls. I also put down some fences so I could actually do a little bit of a cutout. It just looked a little bit better, and that also meant that I needed to do the roofs a little bit differently, so I needed to remove the overhang because otherwise they would clip into the space. I then also did some railings and some fences for the back porch, and afterwards I moved on to the furnishing inside. And at first I did one room and I wanted it to be like the music room, but then I decided that the tables and chairs didn't really fit in there because I wanted to put down the fancy piano. But I just moved the tables into the other classroom and put down like a teacher's stand as well in the front. Of course, the room is really, really small, but it didn't fit anywhere else. Then I did the library, and I put down a few bookcases and also a few lounge chairs, no, not lounge chairs, armchairs, so people can sit down and read. And that was basically the library. For anything else I didn't have the space. But afterwards I moved on to the landing area for the like second floor, and there is where I put all the like working spaces for the students, so some desks. And in the bedroom I of course put down beds for the children, and I also put down some dresses. Then I moved on to the bathroom spaces, so I put down like entrance room with the sink, and then I put down separate rooms for the toilet and also the showers. Afterwards, I moved on to the last floor, and that is where I put like the living quarters of the headmaster or headmistress. And that was basically like the really simple layout of everything. So I put down the furniture everywhere, and then I needed to decorate it basically. So that is like the last portion of it. But I also did some other like activity things. So in the like hallway downstairs, I put down some chess tables, and I also put down the card table in like the porch area. And of course, I also needed to like put down some decorations and other activity skill building items, because it is supposed to be a school, so people are supposed to learn something there. But yeah, the decorations were like the last part that I still needed to do. And as you can see, I put down some rugs and some curtains. The curtains, for some reason, or I know the reason, it's because they slot to like one window, and that sometimes means that it slots a little bit weird or not the way I want it to. So yeah, that was a little bit annoying sometimes. And here you can see that I changed the wall color outside. So yeah, it looks a little bit better and a little bit more intricate. I also decided to do some terrain painting because I thought that the like desert look didn't really fit the way I wanted it to. So I put down some grass and some like earthy colors. So yeah, some soil, I think it's called, like the starter soil or something like that. And I decided on like the fancy ball trees, like the ones that are shaped like a bunch of balls on a tree. And I also did the shaped like bushes with the elephant and the llama. I think they look really cool, but at the same time you can't use them all that often because they also look a little bit strange and not like something that everyday people would necessarily have. So yeah, I thought that in this case it actually fit well and looked really cool. And I also decided to make it into like a little bit of like a mascot of the school, the elephant at least. And then I was finished. Now you can see some screenshots of the build. I hope you like it. You can download it from the gallery. My ID is tggsims, same as my YouTube channel name. I also hope that you liked the video and will consider pressing the thumbs up button and subscribing. Thanks very much for watching and have a great week. Bye!